Thank you, Mr. Benedict, for the kind introduction. Good morning. My story begins in 2013, not at St. Andrews, but at another highly ranked preparatory school when I was in the 9th grade. I was a straight A student and a member of 3 varsity sports. It was obvious that I was not only dedicated, but I was also devoted to being the best that I could be. After months spent at basketball camps, improving my skill level, and numerous preseason workout days with my future coaches, the reward finally came, and I made the varsity basketball team at this other school. With this under my belt, I was sure not to miss a practice, waking up at 5:30 a.m. to weight train, 2.5-hour practices after school, and even after practice shooting drills that I insisted on carrying out, even with the coaches insisting on me leaving for the night. I just couldn't stop. The work had paid off, but I was still determined to continue proving myself. Selfishly enough, I had this desire to be the best on the court. I needed, desperately, to make it to the starting 5. With just a few games until district championships, I gave it my all. Scoring more points than I ever had before, I made it to the starting 5, just in time for our district game. We entered the Calvary Christian Gymnasium, looking around at the 4-to-1 ratio of Calvary parents to parents of my own team. I can personally say for myself that my heart was pounding out of my chest. We needed to win this game in order to continue on in the district round. Warm-up was better than ever. We all made almost every shot, and we looked great. The worry was shown on the Calvary coaches' faces, because we were expected to be the underdogs. The first quarter began and ended in what seemed like seconds, and surprisingly, we were only down by a few points. I felt great, though. I was playing my best game. Great defense, and already 5 points in the bank. As the second quarter came, the hype and the excitement grew. The point guard and I were not only fierce on defense, but we also knocked down shot after shot. It was the third quarter where everything, my whole season, fell apart. Jumping up for the rebound, colliding with a Calvary player, falling hard to the court, her landing on top of me, my head was throbbing. As I lay down on the floor, I felt my heart beat inside of my head. As I lay down on the floor, my teammates gave me a hand up. I looked to the stands, to my mother and to my grandfather. I looked to my coaches. Taking a few minutes rest on the bench, I was then ready to get back in the game and score to help my team. Unfortunately, this wasn't going to happen. Practically seeing double, my face as pale as a ghost, my coaches wouldn't even play me. From that point to the end of the game, I put all of my trust and faith into my teammates. For me, they won the game, but I wasn't satisfied with the results. I still wanted more. The next day, I was diagnosed with a severe concussion and told that I couldn't even play in districts and I shouldn't even go to watch. The next few weeks, I attempted to obey doctor's orders, but was dragged into school by the numerous haunting tests and assignments. While handling the difficulty of AP and honored courses, along with the already daunting thoughts of my future, I felt an immense amount of pressure, never mind worrying about a serious mental injury. I can honestly say that even today, this injury still persists to plague my brain and my body. It was the catalyst for my own immune system to enter attack mode. With my mental and physical injuries, doctor appointments were definitely not foreign to me at this time of my life. Not like they ever had been, suffering from 2 autoimmune conditions since I was 5, Hashimoto's hypothyroid and vitiligo. From the therapist to orthopedic surgeons, my parents were determined to find a solution. Although the therapist couldn't solve my depression, the doctor certainly found an answer to my physical injuries. Ultimately, I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. This diagnosis is certainly not what any person wants to hear, never mind a 15-year-old cross-country runner, basketball player, and softball player. My 50 or so mile a week habit came to an abrupt, screeching halt. My position as a catcher for the softball team was benched, and I was devastated. It was during this time of my life that I not only felt the pressure from my coaches, but I also felt the pressure from myself. I thought that since I had this injury, that it automatically made me not good enough. Making a hastened change from an A student to a B student, I felt as though I was letting my family, my teachers, and myself down. It was then that I also adopted a fierce jealousy for my brother and all the accomplishments that he had under his belt. Never having an injury, never receiving anything less than an A, I viewed him as perfect, thinking he neither had a flaw nor a fault. It was the spring of his senior year, and accolades were coming his way, fast and furious. Every single time I was referenced as John's little sister, I cringed. I knew, or rather I thought, I could never be quite as good as he was. With his jealousy also came serious depression, thinking it was completely impossible for me to ever reach being good enough or being worthy of anything. I truly thought that I had failed. With this depression also came an outbreak of my obsessive-compulsive personality. It was a domino effect. Everything had happened because of what came before it. I was mentally dead, devastated, and broken. It was time for me to finally get out of the race. I needed a new beginning. Preparing to forfeit my position in the race to the finish line, my parents were supportive of my decision to change schools, even if it was the first week in June and the possibility of even filling out an application was coming to an end. Taking me from Miami to Palm Beach, we searched high and low for where the right place for me was going to be. Out of the first 4 schools we visited, I was feeling let down, thinking that I was never going to find a school where I would not only be happy, but also find myself. It was the one morning spent touring with Miss Reddington where I found my new home, St. Andrews, even though it was a good 40 minutes from where I live in Fort Lauderdale. Looking around at the laughing, smiling faces of the students as they sat around the fountain, I was hooked. I knew, right then and there, it was a place where I could be myself. It would be my new home for the next 3 years. With summer gone and school approaching the next day, of course I was excited, happy, but mostly nervous, just like today. Would I have friends? Would I fit in? What were my classes going to be like? And, most importantly, did I make the right decision? As the clock struck midnight, when I opened, heart pounding, it was inevitable that I wasn't sleeping that night. Luckily, I fell asleep for a few short hours, awaiting my alarm to ring at 6 a.m. And I was up, showering, getting dressed, preppy as ever, doing my hair, preparing my backpack, and eating a filling breakfast. I was ready for my first day at St. Andrews. As I arrived on campus, for my 3rd time ever, my heart was beating out of control. My hands were sweating, but the same gleaming smile that had shone upon my face during my first visit to the school was still wide across. From A period all the way to G period, I had made it. I made it through my first day. No bumps, no mistakes, and no tears. Only kind, friendly students and teachers always there to give me a helping hand. As my primary days progressed and my initial weeks flew by, I knew that becoming a St. Andrews Scot was the best decision that I had made in my life thus far. With smiling faces to greet me each morning, helpful, intellectual teachers found inside and outside of the classroom, and friendly faces of classmates that I now call friends, there was no doubt in my mind that transferring to St. Andrews was the correct decision for me. At my doctor's recommendation, I rediscovered the pool and the wonderful fumes of chlorine. Coach Sid, with his kind understanding, allowed me the opportunity to swim 3 days a week and to manage the team the other 2. I must thank Coach Sid for his cooperation throughout this time of my life, for it was his support that had encouraged me to continue attempting these athletics. In addition to diving back into the pool, I also discovered the route towards enlightenment in my yoga practice, which I quickly found an affinity for. I thank yoga for strengthening not only my body, but also my spirit, helping me to achieve maturity, strength, and positivity. In addition to new athletic discoveries, I also found light in my music. The Performing Arts Department has offered me such an abundance of support and encouragement in my past 2 years. From this support, my passion of music has only grown further at St. Andrews. In my first year, after multiple months of excelling in my history course and forming a student-teacher relationship, Mr. Toth, my teacher, offered me the opportunity to apply for the Economics for Leaders program held at the Foundation for Teaching Economics at the College of William and Mary. As one of the first and only sophomores to attend, I am more than grateful that I had this opportunity. In a letter to the founder of this program, I described Economics for Leaders as unexpected and transformative. Gaining friends all the way from Arizona to Jordan, I experienced something that I was neither expecting nor initially thankful for. These originally just campmates became my friends in just 1 short week, friends that I still continue communication with and have high hopes of seeing in the summer to come. From Economics for Leaders, I gained irreplaceable knowledge not only of economics, but also of myself and of others. I have learned through this opportunity that I am a leader, and that people, no matter where they are, always share a similarity with others. Although my years here have come with a few teary-eyed nights, I still consider St. Andrews as a magical place. Beautiful on the outside, it is what I found on the inside that truly matters and adds to the prestige of the school. Coaches, like Coach Sid, the Performing Arts Department, and teachers, such as Mr. Toth, have just helped to reinforce that transferring to St. Andrews was one of the best moves that I could have ever made for myself. St. Andrews, a place I refer to as my home, offered me that experience to flourish as my true self by leading through the motto of mind, body, and spirit. I am thankful, fortunate, and appreciative for the teachers, faculty, administration, students, and even the visitors. For these are the reasons that St. Andrews is such a great place, not only myself, but also, I guarantee, for others. For these reasons and many more, I cannot wait to see where my path guides me in the future. Thank you.